This is the story of formula. Picture a young mother with 2 children taking her children to the pediatrician. The mother says to the pediatrician, "I'm done with feeding my children. It takes too much time and money. I've found an easier way to get calories into them without all of the hassle." The pediatrician is in a little bit of shock, but stays open-minded and say, "Okay, tell me what you've come up with." "Well, my daughter is a year old, and based on the USDA recommendations, she needs 900 calories a day. I know about half of her calories should come from carbs, so I figure 109 grams of corn syrup should cover her carbs for the day. I'll also give her some fiber, 14 grams a day. I know she also needs 34 grams of fat and 26 grams of protein according to the USDA. And I figure I'll just give her some milk protein concentrate or whey protein in a powder, and I'll just use some soy oil or safflower oil. Add in a multivitamin, and I've got my child's grocery bill down to $63.60 a month. All I'm going to do is shake up all of those ingredients, and she can just drink that all day." What do you think the pediatrician in this story would say? What do you think any reasonable pediatrician would say? Would there be a pediatrician, any reasonable pediatrician, that would say, "Hey, that sounds great. I think that's a great idea. Go ahead and do it"? Or would the pediatrician use evidence to disagree? A reasonable pediatrician would probably pull out the World Health Organization guideline for sugar intake. According to the World Health Organization, children shouldn't have more than 10% of their calories coming from free sugar. The amount of corn syrup that's in your child's diet is 50% of her calories, which makes it 5 times the recommended amount of sugar she should be taking in a day. And according to the World Health Organization, corn syrup is a free sugar. A 1-liter bottle of Coca-Cola has 108 grams of corn syrup in it. You would be giving more corn syrup than the liter of Coca-Cola to your child in a single day. With that amount of free sugar in your daughter's diet, she will be at an increased risk for heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. Not to mention, corn syrup is not a real food. She should be deriving her carbohydrates from fresh fruits and vegetables and grains. Your protein should come from natural sources like lean meats or beans. Healthy fats should come from nuts and seeds or other naturally high-fat foods. And at the end, the pediatrician would say, "She can't live off of corn syrup." Or can she? Let's take that same 1-year-old and say she's unable to eat orally due to medical reasons, and she has a gastric tube. What is the first thing that most doctors offer mothers of children who receive nutrients through a gastric tube? Formula. This is Pediasure. This is a very common formula prescribed to children that are fed through a gastric tube. Pediasure claims that it is complete, balanced nutrition as it says so on the can. All of the ingredients that I spoke of before in my story are all of the same ingredients that's in Pediasure. Corn maltodextrin is a corn syrup solid. You would be giving 109 grams of corn syrup a day for a 900-calorie diet. That's the equivalent of more than 3 chocolate bars worth of sugar. You'd be giving 26 grams of whey protein powder and 34 grams of safflower oil or soybean oil as her only source of fat. Why is there such a discrepancy? Why do you take a child that eats orally and say you can't have a lot of sugar, it's not good for you, but as soon as you give that same child a gastric tube, you expect them to live off of it? It's not right, and it's not healthy. And doctors prescribing formula to children with gastric tubes need to start researching what's really inside of the formula. Get your child on a blended diet. Visit my website, blenderizedrn.com, for more information, or join our Facebook group where thousands of parents and caregivers of children who are fed through a gastric tube are blending food and sharing their great results of their child's improved health.